portion, Rashi, the Torah portion, Noach. Noah, we are in the fourth portion. We are now after the floods. And we're Bereshit, Genesis chapter 8, verse number 15. And Hashem spoke to Noach, saying, go out, leave, go out from the ark, Ata, you v'ishtecha, and your wife. You notice his wife is next to him, right? Till now, she was separated by Ubanecha and your sons, or Nishevanecha Yitach, and your wife's sons with you. Rashi picks up on this change. Ata v'ishtecha, ish v'ishteh, man and his wife, husband and wife, kan hiter lahem, because at this point was permitted for them, tashmi shemita, that they could have marital relations. For the entire year, they could not have marital relations. Why? The world was, being flooded, right? Destruction. So God didn't allow them to have marital relations. Number 17, and all of the living creatures that are with you, mikol basar, from all flesh, ba'oif, be it birds or behema, animals, v'chol harimis, and all that creatures that crawl, harimis, all those that crawl on the earth, they should come out with you. And they should swarm the earth. They should be fruitful and multiply upon the land. Rashi, the Haitse. So it's written Haitse, right? V'hayitzi kri, about Hayitzi kri, but so it's written Haitse, but it's written Yitzi. Haitse. So Haitzi means you take out, right? Hayitze means that they should come out. So Rashi says, we have this sometimes. And sometimes a word is written one way, but it's pronounced another way.
Which one is it?
It's both. It's both, and that's what Rashi is saying. In other words, if they will not go out on their own, you take them out.
But you start by taking them out yourself.
No.
You start by telling them to leave, but yourself.
Right. They left, so the animals leave. If they're not going to leave on their own, then you take them out. Right. In other words, God's commanding that this is what you need, how you need to do it. Remember, when they came into the ark, how'd they come? On their own. Rashi told us that because the word that was used was, I forgot the term now. A couple of days ago we had it, and the term was that they're not that they bring them, but they will be coming on their own. Yes. Is the term that was used, and so Rashi expressed that they came on their own rather than being brought. Here they should be leaving on their own, but if they don't, then you bring them up. And they should swarm the earth, earth, but not in the ark. Magid, this tells us from the inference over here. Interesting that they should swarm the earth, but fruitful and multiply would seem to bring that idea out, but Rashi doesn't mean those words. But it's based on swarming the earth. This tells us that now that they're going to swarm the earth, before they couldn't swarm in the ark, meaning that they also could not have relations, which is interesting, right? Seemingly, it was forbidden. You don't forbid animals. There's no permitted and forbidden things amongst animals. They don't have laws. But it seems like they had in the ark, so it must mean that Noah had to separate them so they wouldn't be able to copulate. He went out, Noach and his sons and his wife and the wives of his sons together with him. Kol hachayash, kol haremes, and all of the animals, kol haremes, and all the creeping crawlers, kol ha'if, and all the birds, kol haremes alaris, all that crawl on the earth, the mishpachosehim, according to their families. Yotzu minateva, they went out of the ark. Rashi, what does it mean? Lemishpachosehim, kiblo aleim almanas, the David Lamina. This means that they took upon themselves to copulate with their own species.
They said before that he came up with his wife and then his sons. Now they says he came up with his sons and then his wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess it's not a question.
Okay.
In simple meaning. Yeah. Good observance.
I'm an observant Jew.
You're an observant Jew, exactly. So why that is, not certain. But I guess it's not a difficulty on the simple text because Rashi doesn't address it. Okay.
Yeah.
But still a question. But even Noach built Mizbeach, an altar la Hashem, to God. V'yikach, and he took Mikol from all Habehema Tahira, all of the pure animals, right? The kosher pure animals. Mikol ha'oif, and from all of the birds Tahar that are pure. V'yal Eilas HaMizbeach, and he brought an ascent offering on the altar.
They brought 7 of them, not 2, the kosher ones.
But let's learn Rashi.
Okay.
Okay. Rashi in 20, Mikola behema teira, from every pure animal. Omar, he said, Lo yitziva li HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God did not command me lahachnis me'ele shiva shiva, to take from in the ark seven by seven from the kosher animals, Elikidei lahakriv karban mehem, but only in order to bring an offering from them. Okay. Yeah. Yarach Hashem is reach anichayach, and Hashem, he smelled the appeasing fragrance. Vayomer Hashem, and Hashem said, El liboy, into his heart, Oisif lekalel, I will not continue to curse oid further, es ha'adama, the ground, ba'avur adam, because of man. Ki yetzer leiv ha'adam ra menura, because the inclination of the heart of man is evil, ra menura, from his youth. And I will not continue further. Lahaka is to smite, as kol chai kasher sisi, all living things, all life, as I have done. Rashi. Interesting sichas over here, but not for the moment. Right? What does it mean that he had a, seemingly had a what's the word? A change of heart, right? What does that mean? Minura, from his youth, minarav ksiv, it's written, minarav. That's what's written. This teaches us from the time that he stirs, let's say, to go out of his mother's womb, the urge to do evil is put in the individual. Right? That's what's implied over here. Because the word is not minurav, minna. Mina'arav, which mina'arav means from the time you stir. When do you stir? When you're in the womb of your mother, right? So the evil inclinations given to you already in the womb of your mother. Two times it says I will not continue. I will not continue. 2 times. Kafal adavar, repeated the matter, lishvua, to make an oath. Has the force of an oath, right? And the force of an oath is something that is repeated twice when you take an oath. in the positive and the negative. Who shikosov? This is referred to that which is written asher nishbaiti me avor me Noach. This is in Isaiah that it says that I swore not to make the waters of Noach come again, pass by. And we don't. Where do we find an oath? Elazu, but this is the oath right here. Shekafel dvarav, the God repeated his words, and therefore it constitutes an oath. And likewise, our sages in the tractate Shvuas, they taught it this way. You recall in Rambam, when we did the laws of oaths, so we spoke there that an oath is defined by saying the point in two different manners, in the positive and the negative. Like, I will not do this, but I will do that, right? Okay, 22. Further, call Yemei all of the days of the earth, Zera v'kotzir. Zera meaning a time of seeding, v'kotzir a harvest, kor cold, v'choim in heat, kayetz summer, v'chayrif winter, v'yoyim v'layla day and night, lo yishboisu will never cease. Right. In other words, during the flood, the season ceased. That won't happen again. Rashi in 22. Call Yemei ha'aretz lo the continuous days of the earth there shall not cease. Shisha itim halalu. There are 6 seasons over here, right? Seed time, harvest, cold, heat, summer, and winter. Shnei chadashim l'chol echad ve'echad, which means each one has 2 months, right? That gives you 12 months of the year. As we've learned, Chetzi Tishrei, half of Tishrei, which we're now in a half of the latter half of Tishrei, Omar Cheshvan, right? That's 1, right? The Chetzi Kislev, half of Kislev. That gives you 2 months. Zera, that's the time of seeding. So now's the time of seeding until the mid Kislev. Mid Kislev, yeah, halfway through Kislev, right? Chetzi Kislev v'Tevis, Chetzi Shvat. Now, if you take half of Kislev, 1 month of Tevis, and half of Shvat, that gives you 2 months. It's the next. That's Kor. That's a time of cold, as we learn in Baba Metzia. Okay. Kor, cold. Kasha Mecharif. That's harsher than winter. Chayrif, Ezera Sa'irim. That's a time of sowing barley, the kidneys and legumes. The Charivim Lizbashel Maher, and they quicken to ripen in a short time with half of Shvat. Be'adar Chetzi Nisan. Right, so winter, which is cold core, is worse than winter. Right, so winter is sowing barley, half of Shvat, Adar, and half of Nisan until Pesach. Katzir is harvest time. That continues. Chetzi Nisan, half of Nisan. Iyar, the entire month of Iyar. V'chetzi Sivan. That's when you're harvesting the barley and the wheat.
After we change from the rain to dew, summer to winter, winter to summer.
Yeah.
Pesach.
Katzir, yeah. Hayitz, summer, Chetzi Sivan, that's half of Sivan. Tammuz, Chetzi Av, and half of Av. Who's man Lakit, that's the time to gather figs. And the time that you dry the figs, so that it's in the fields. Mishmoy Kayitz, and the name is called Kayitz.
T-shirt. Okay.
Yeah. So its name is Chaim. Then we have heat. That's the end of the summer, right? Who saves Imaisachama, Chetzi Av, half of Av, the Elul, the Chetzi Tishrei, until Sukkot, right? Olam Chambi, you said the world is more hot that time. Moshe Shanina, as we've learned from Masechtas Yuma, Tractate Yuma. Moshe Shanina, as we've learned from Masechtas Yuma, Shili Kaita in the summer, Koshimi Kaita is harsher than the rest of the summer. So day and night shall not cease. This implies that day and night ceased. Throughout the days of the flood. That the constellations do not function, the heavenly bodies do not shine.
Huh?
Yeah,
Which one did you cease, day or night?
day or night.
Both of them? Okay.
In other words, it wasn't recognized it was day and night in times of the flood. Should not cease, all of these should not cease, at least not from conducting themselves kisidram in the normal pattern of creation. Okay, we're now chapter 9, verse 1. Exactement.
Where the rainbow happened?
Vayivarech Elokim es Noach, and he blessed Elokim. God blessed Noach, his Banav and his sons. Vayomer lehem, and he said to them, "Revu, be fruitful, multiply, and live aretz, and fill the earth." Marach v'chitchem, and your fear and your dread, Yel kol chayas haaretz, will be upon all of the beasts of the land, Al kol oif hashemayim, and all of the birds of the heavens, of the sky. And all that will crawl on the land. And all of the fish in the sea will be in your hands. Nitano, sorry, in your hands it will be given. Meaning you are in control, right? You're in control of everything. Don't get out of control. Rashi, chitchem, your dread means emaschem, your terror. Kamashetiru chitas. You see my dread, agada. So that's a simple meaning, right? Will be upon all of living beings. But the agada interpretation of the word, loshen chiyus, means a life force, calls man, shatinik ben yemen, as long as a child is even just 1 day old, and is alive, you don't need to guard the child, min from mice.
At his oath?
Huh?
Would that have anything to do with his oath?
Let's just continue for a moment. So a child, you don't have to guard them from mice. But King of Bashan, Mace, he's dead. When he's dead, you have to guard him. Minakbarim from mice. Shenemar says, because what does it mean that the fear will be upon? Where will the fear be? Al-Chayis over bees, when you are alive, but not after you die. After you die, animals will come at you. When you're alive, even if you're just a day old, mice are not going to come and nibble away at you. That's the Agadatic understanding. Okay. Verse number 3. Kol remes asher hu chai lachem yelachla. All moving creatures that live will be for you to eat. Keyera keisav nasati lachem esakol. Like plant vegetation, I've given you everything. Rashi. Number 3. Okay, let's learn, please. Lachem yalach will be for you for food. Below here, Sheisi, I did not allow Adam Arishaim for the Adam, the first man. Basar, I didn't allow him to eat meat. Alayera kesa, but only green herbal greenery. But for you, kera kesa will be like herbal greenery. If karti, and I have relinquished the Adam Arishan to Adam, the first man. Nasati lachem is a call. I've given you everything. Right. I've given you in other words, you can eat from everything. Yeah. However, basar benafshe dama eloi seichlu. However, flesh, right, in a living creature, eloi seichel, that you can't have. In other words, the blood is still in the living creature. It's still alive. That you can't eat. Right. This is the 7th Noachide law, by the way.
Huh? You can't separate a limb from an animal.
From a live animal, right? This is the 7th and final Noachide law. The 6 others were given to Adam in last week's Torah portion, right? Inferred, not very obvious. So here, this is Abram enough time that you can't take a limb from a living animal, right? In other words, it needs to be slaughtered first. Rashi, also benafshay, flesh with a soul, also lehem, Abram minachai, to eat a limb which is detached from a living animal. In other words, holds my shenaf as long as it's the soul's in it. In other words, if it died, if you're not Jewish, then you could eat non-Jewish meat. Okay.
Oh,
So you can't have Abram minachai. In other words, as long as the soul is in it, you can't eat from it. For its soul is its blood. As long as it's alive, flesh with its soul you should not eat. That would be a prohibition of eating a limb that has been detached from a living animal. But in addition to this verse is understood, its blood with its soul you shall not eat. Dam minachai, meaning the prohibition against eating blood that's taken from a live animal. So it's not just a limb, but it's also the blood. Okay.
Isn't blood always not kosher?
First of all, it's for a Jew, and this
Okay.
is given to Noah, so it's for all of humanity, right? Yeah, good point. Okay, number 5. However, estimchem, your own blood, lenafshesechem, for your very life. Yeah. So again, your blood, lenafshesechem, which is of your very life, edreish miyad kol chaya, shenu. I will set an account at the hand of every wild beast.
What does that mean?
Mean the beast is going to kill you.
I will settle the account.
Yeah. Umiyad adam, and from the hands of man. Miyad ish ochiv edreish is nefesh adam. Right. we'll see over here because it's a bunch of words over here that you need to like miyad adam. Like, I'm giving you literal, and Rashi's going to explain it,
Okay.
right? So just so you got to learn to translate the words. Miyad ha'adam, and from the hands of man, miyad the ish, and from hands of Adam, a human, right? A human life. Miyad ish achiv, and from someone of his own brother. Edrish, I will seek out, it's a nefesh adam, the soul of that person. Now let's see. And Rashi is going to explain because a little complicated here. Let's see. Ach is dimchem, but your blood, afal pi she'etarti lachem, even though I permitted for you netilas and neshama to take a soul, right? Taking a soul, killing the behemoth with regard to an animal, right? As dimchem edresh, I will demand your blood, for one who spills his own blood, which means suicide.
What does that mean, his own blood?
Suicide. You took your own life.
Okay.
Right? This is what this part means, right? So the first ach is dimchem lenafshesechem edresh. That's the first thing, right? In other words, I gave you ach. Ach means an exclusion, right? Previously, we said you could kill an animal, which that was something that now became permitted. It was not permitted to Adam. Now it is being permitted. Adam was vegetarian. Now we are fleischiks, right? However, don't think that therefore you can kill human life, starting with your own life. No, I will take that into account. Of your souls, even someone who strangles himself, and there's no blood that came out of him. You might think, oh, it's only if I, no, if I cut my wrists, blood will come out. I commit suicide that way. God is going, right? Because it says here, but your blood, right? So, right, but it says lenafshesechem, for your soul, meaning even if blood didn't come out, in other words, you hung yourself, God forbid, right? I will also come after you, meaning after your soul, right? After you pass away. Miyad kol chaya, of every beast, since a generation of flood sinned, and were cast loose, to be food for evil beasts, that the beast ruled over them. It says, nidmu, as it says in Tehillim from King David, they became dominated because we were comparable to animals. Therefore, it has the Torah needs to say over here, lahazir aleim, as achayus, to enjoin the beast regarding killing people. Right? In other words, before the flood, animals were killing people. They were all, they were gone crazy. Now, that can't happen. Okay? So that's what it means, miyad kol chaya. And I'm going to take an account. Miyad means the every hand of a wild beast that is going to kill a human. I'm going to take an account with the person who takes her own life. I'm going to take that of an animal, right? And now it continues, miyad kol chay, miyad ha'adam, from the hands of a person. Miyad ha'erig b'mezit, what does it mean? One who kills intentionally. Then aid him, and there are no witnesses to testify that he killed on the edge. I'll come after that person.
Court can't decide, he'll do it for them.
Court doesn't have witnesses, so can't do anything.
Yeah.
But God could, right? He's going to come after him, right? With retribution. Then it continues, that was Adam, miyad ish achiv, of a man for his brother. So what is this part speaking about? Right? Means you killed somebody who's like your brother. So why'd you kill him? Unintentionally you killed him. On the edge, I will demand the soul of man. Im lo yigla, if it doesn't mean, if he does not go into exile, vakesh alaveina lemochel, and seek that his sin be forgiven. Shaf shoygeg, for even someone who commits a sin unintentionally, tzar kapara needs atonement. If you do something wrong, right, and it was unintentional, it was still wrong. In other words, if you were mindful enough, you wouldn't have done the wrong thing, right? If you close accidentally coming out of the bathroom on Shabbos to light, it was accidentally. Are you obligated? What are you obligated for? You have to bring actually a sacrifice in the temple, korban chatos, because you did a sin. But it was unintentional. I didn't mean. Well, when you take poison and you didn't mean, it still has a ill effect, right? If you had food that was had salmonella and you got sick, food poisoning. Well, I didn't mean to. Yeah, okay. So what? The effect of the effect. That's what's happening over here. We unintentionally killed somebody, right? That's what he's your brother. That's why it's unintentional. There wasn't a hatred over here. Yet you have to go to exile because right? The city of refuge or in Miklat. And if you don't do that because no one knows what happened, I will come after you, God says.
But he can atone.
Because he needs atonement, so he needs to go. That's why it's saying it. But if you won't go, so you're not getting your atonement. So, right, God will come after that person in order to cleanse the person. And if there are no witnesses, to obligate him exile, who he does not submit himself voluntarily to go to exile. Hashem is going to demand expiation from him. Rabbis, as the sages explain the verse, the God brought it about him through his hand. Pesachtes Makkos, it's explained in the Tractate there. Kodesh Baruch Hu Masbi in the Punduk. So there in the Talmud says someone accidentally killed somebody, right? There's no witnesses, so he didn't go to Golus. Oh no, purposely. Sorry, someone purposely killed somebody. Another person accidentally killed somebody, and there's no witnesses to anything, right? So then God's going to bring that person who was murdered. He's going to be standing under the ladder, and the guy who accidentally murdered is going to fall on him and kill him accidentally. In other words, there's no accidents from heaven. In other words, there's going to be justice to the person who killed somebody and there was no witnesses. Very interesting.
However, the accidental killer still has to do tshuva.
Well, he'll have to go to Golos. He'll have to go to exile now.
That's a retribution to the person who killed without
Right.
witnesses.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So when you step on somebody's toe, that was Shemaim. Somebody was supposed to step on his toe. But that it was me who stepped on his toe, I have to give an apology.
Right.
And say, well, it's accidental. I didn't mean it. And
Heaven-
anyway, you deserved it. Because it's from heaven. So no, I was wrong. I did that mistakenly, and I need to apologize for that.
Okay. So
You lost me, Rashi, but I'll find it again.
okay, 6. So now he continues. So all of this is right. Like animals you can kill, but don't humans not, right? And we gave the different scenarios. Now continue. Shreifich dam ha'adam ba'adam. Someone who spills the blood of a person spills the blood of another person. Dama yishafich. His blood he you have shed. Kivitzelim Elokim also is Adam, because God has created him in the image of God, is made man. Rashi. Adam dam yishofer im yesh edim shemisuhu atem lama kivitzelim Elokim. So if there's witnesses to the murder, till now, the previous verse there weren't witnesses, right? Right now there were witnesses, so he needs to be put to death, right?
By the court.
By the court, yeah. Dama yishafech, right? His blood shall be shed, right? The one who killed intentionally, right? There were witnesses and he was warned, right? Why? Because this person is created in the image of God that he killed. In other words, you destroyed the divine image, right? Also is Adam, he made man. This is an abbreviated verse. Should read, the maker made man. Key, but some of them also, the maker made. Okay, I don't get that exactly, but
That he made, but that was abbreviated to the maker made.
yeah. But as for you, be fruitful, multiply, and swarm the earth, revuba, and populate it. That means simply, meaning in verse number 1, this is verse number 7. In verse number 1, when they came out of the ark, they were told to be fruitful and multiply, right? And now again, he's being told to be fruitful and multiply. So the first time it was for a blessing, right? In other words, they came out of the ark. They didn't copulate in the ark. So, and the world was destroyed. So God's giving a blessing of being fruitful and multiply. Now he's not giving a blessing. What's he doing? Giving a command. It's a commandment. Got it? Got the distinction? Kind of makes sense, right? After all of the devastation, God gives a blessing to them as they leave the ark. And now that he's speaking about that he is giving them the seventh commandment of the Noachide laws, of not to eat a limb from a live animal, and that you can partake.
Of meat.
You can partake of meat, but you can only kill an animal. You can't kill a person. Accidental. You can't even take your own life. Right? All of that. And then if you did it purposefully, intentionally with witnesses, then your life is on the line. But that's all the negative. Now comes the command of what I want you to do. That's a negative commandment. There's a positive commandment: be fruitful and multiply. Right? That's what's coming to. That's simple. Lefi midrash, according to the midrash, fruitful and multiply repeated over here is with the punishment of murder. Lahakish, to compare, just as someone who doesn't engage in reproduction and bringing children into this world, Shefel Damim is as if one shed blood.
Is there a sikha from the Rebbe that explains the perspective on why earlier only vegetables were allowed to be consumed and later meat was allowed to only the time of Noach that meat was allowed to be consumed? Why is that? What's the perspective on that? Why earlier should it not have been allowed? Why now should it have been allowed?
Good question. Well, I do remember something. Let's just see if I can find here. No, I don't see here. Um, no.
Brother, find his wife now, four portions of part four. Those words.
Okay. Hmm. Okay. All right, folks. We'll see you
Thank you,
shortly.
Rabbi Stein.
We'll see you shortly, Tanya, on